good morning, good morning. Welcome back to In the Trenches with Dr. Tammy. I know. Don't get me. I took a little break last week. I needed a break. Let me just tell you, life has been lifing, but in an incredibly, amazingly good way. So I was a little tired. Your girl was tired. I've been going, I've been coming, I've been, as the old folks say, I've been ripping, I've been running. So I was tired. I'm sorry, don't get me. But I'm back. I'm back this week, and I'm excited to be here with you to share some more of my thoughts. And I hope that you walk away from this episode with some new nuggets, with a few new nuggets of things that you may want to do, or some things that you may have seen before, have heard of before, but you want to try them again. So, before we get started, before we start this morning on our episode, I just want to say to you all that there's so much going in the world today, so much going on in our world today, to remind ourselves to not allow all of the outside noises, all of the difficulties, all of the stressors that we see on the news or we hear about on social media. Let's not allow those things to have us forget the need to be kind to our fellow human beings. In these last couple of days, I have seen and heard some things that were just not very kind. And we want to remember to be kind to one another. Let's do that. Let's uplift one another instead of tearing each other down. So that's my little soapbox for today. That's Dr. Tammy's spiel on being kinder to each other. Now, for this episode of our podcast, I'm going to continue in the series of things that we were talking about with regard to relationships or partnerships or just simply getting along. Today, we're going to focus on conflict without chaos. Now, you all know I told you I started taking notes so that I can stay on track for you all. I want to give you those nuggets so you can walk away with them without having to say, what was she talking about? Oh, looks like she got a little lost. So I'm going to look down a little bit because I have my notes and I want to stay on track. I want to keep you engaged and ready to go. So one of the things that we really, really want to look at is defining what we mean. What do we mean by fighting fair? What do we mean by fighting fair? So many of us will get into a disagreement or an argument with someone. It doesn't even have to be our significant other, but we have a disagreement and we will go below the belt with our comments, with what we say, because we know that's something that will be hurtful to you. That's not what we want to do. We can have conflict with another human being and fight fair, meaning we can share our thought processes with them without being disrespectful. We can do that. We can stick to the issue at hand. So many of us, when we disagree with someone in the moment, we'll reach way back in the past. We'll reach way back there and pull in other things that that person may have done at some point or said at some point that they may not even be aware that they have said or done to you, but you pull those into that moment, into that conflict, into that conversation, and it blindsides them. They're not even sure what's happening anymore because your original issue has grown into multiple issues. And that's not what we want to do. We're going to stick to that one issue. Let's work our way through it and let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You want to also manage your emotions. Manage your emotions instead of letting them take control. Now, I'm going to say this, and I've said this to you before. You all know that my doctorate is in organizational leadership, but my concentration is conflict resolution. And I remind you of that because I can resolve conflict with the best of them in any organization. But in my personal life, when I actually care for someone, I too have struggled with removing my emotions without allowing them to overtake me. Because I'm telling you, whether you're an expert or not, you sometimes have to take a step back and say, wait a minute, I am allowing my emotions to overtake this moment. And those emotions are clouding my judgment. Those emotions are not only clouding my judgment, but they are interfering with what I really need to be saying. And now, this entire moment, this discussion, this interaction, this conflict that we are currently having is becoming so much bigger than it needed to be. So I'm sharing that with you to let you know, yes, I am an expert in that in my professional life. But sometimes I have to remind myself, just as I am telling you, hey, take a minute. Do not allow those emotions to take over. Because when you do that, you take that conversation or that conflict hostage and you hold it in that space. And we never actually resolve what is happening. And remember, when there is a conflict, we are looking to find a resolution that fits everyone involved. That fits everyone involved. So, one of the other things that you want to do, what do you want to do is remember that there are some traps. There are some traps. And I hear this all the time when you call me, when you send me messages, whether it's via my email, whether it's in my DMs on social media. You come to me and you say, I'm having this issue with my person, with my family member, with my coworker. And it was a heated conversation involved. Name calling took place. Name calling took place. We want to stop that. We want to discontinue the use of name calling. When a person came to you with a concern, an issue, one of you shifted the blame to the other one, when in most cases, there isn't really any blame to be had. It is simply how the person is feeling about something that you may have said or you may have done. So we want to discontinue shifting blame, hearing that person out and listening to what it is they have to say. You heard me say earlier, bringing up the past, that is a surefire trap and certainly a way to interfere with coming to or arriving at an absolute resolution that works for all parties involved. Shutting down, shutting down. This is one of the ones that I tell people all the time. People say, well, you know, I'm an Aries, so I will shut down and not talk to you for 2 or 3 days. Or I'm a Gemini, I will shut down and not talk to you for 5 days or 6 months. I'm a Taurus, I will do this. Listen, yes, I close my eyes and I'm probably rolling them just a little bit. We must stop doing that. We must stop doing that. Shutting down is a way to avoid the issue at hand. Shutting down does not solve anything. It does not get us to a resolution. It only increases the conflict between the two people. It widens the gap of communication that we're not having. When there is a conflict, shutting down is not the way to go. You should instead have conversations. You should instead have conversations. Do not, and I repeat, do not, do not, do not shut down. Shutting down will make the other person feel as though they are not valued, that their feelings are not important. And it doesn't matter what kind of relationship. It doesn't have to be a romantic one. It can be at work. It can be with your family members. Down, shutting down makes the person feel unheard and not valued. So we are going to discontinue doing that. Another trap is blowing up because you've held all of this stuff in for so long. You've just been holding on to it so tightly, just holding on to it and letting it build up and build up and build up and build up until eventually you explode in your words and then sometimes in your actions. All of these things we want to discontinue. When there is something that is bothering you, no matter how small it is, share it with whomever it is so that you can work past it, so that you can move beyond whatever that issue is. Because when we allow them to build and to build and to build upon each other, it's no longer a small thing. It is no longer a small thing. And now it's this huge issue that could have been resolved a long, long, long time ago. Also, let's not give people the silent treatment. Let's not give them the silent treatment. You're upset. Yes, it's okay to be upset. But again, the silent treatment says, I'm shutting you out. You're not important to me. I do not value your feelings. I am the only person who is important now and possibly in the future. The silent treatment does not lead to a resolution. It only leads to the other person involved in the conflict feeling as if the issue cannot be resolved. And in some cases, they don't even know what the issue is because you chose to be silent. You leave them wondering what is really going on. And we don't want to do that. And again, no escalating. No escalating instead of resolving. No escalating instead of resolving. Finally, here's some things that we can do. Here are some healthy things that we can do. This first one is my favorite. The first one is my favorite. Using I can statements. When you feel upset about something and you want to share it with someone, instead of pointing the finger at them and saying, you did this, you did that, or you made me feel, you can say things like, I felt, or I received, I understood this to mean. So your I statements, I misspoke earlier. I think I said I can. I intended to say I statements. Make sure that you use those. Those are very, very important. It takes the onus off of the other person and it lets them know this is not a verbal attack against them. It is, however, something that you're concerned about and you want to share how whatever it was impacted you as an individual. So be sure to speak from your perspective in I statements. So use I statements, okay? Actively listen. Actively listen. When the other person is speaking, you are going to listen. You're going to listen, not to respond. Yes, I pointed my finger at you. You're going to listen, not to respond, but you're going to listen to understand. Once they have finished all of their statements, you are then going to ask some clarifying questions. So I understood you to say, what I received was. Make sure that you ask clarifying questions before you respond. Once you are sure that you understand exactly what it is that they were trying to say, it is in that moment that you can respond with your answer to a question that they may have, or you may simply respond to how they might be feeling about something. Again, you're going to stick to the issue at hand. You're not bringing in any other issues. You are sticking to the right now. Make sure you're aware of your body language. Make sure you're aware of your body language. If you're talking to your person and you've got your arms folded, or your eyes are all mean looking, or you're not even looking at them when they're talking to you, you're looking around the room, that says you're not important. Your arms are all folded, your face is scrunched up. That says, I'm angry. I'm angry. I don't want you in my space right now. And while you might be upset, absolutely, just be aware. Be aware that your body language can say, yes, I am here. I'm ready to have this conversation with you. I'm ready to be engaged in finding a resolution to our conflict. Or your body language could say, get away from me. I'm not interested in what's happening right now. And we want to stick to the body language that says, I'm open. I'm hearing what you have to say. Let's work through this. That's what we want to do. Now, let's also remember that there are times when we can pause the argument. And yes, conflicts often involve arguments. We spoke about this in a previous podcast. I am one who believes in the moment of saying, may we table this until later. That says, hey, I'm a little bit too upset to talk about it right now. Let's table it and revisit it in a little bit. Or there are some times when you may have to say, I am going to agree to disagree in this moment. And again, we can revisit these things later. These are the ways in which we are going to fight fair. We are going to fight fair no matter where it is that we are, no matter where we are at work, at home, with our significant other. We are going to fight fair. We're going to fight fair. So what does that mean to us? What does it mean to us? We're going to protect the relationship. Whatever kind of relationship it is, we are protecting it by fighting fair and not bringing additional chaos. Again, you can disagree. You can disagree. That is okay. It is how you get to the resolution that matters. I get so passionate about these things that I get tongue-tied. Y'all know how I am. And then finally, conflict can be an opportunity to bring the two of you closer together. It can be an opportunity for additional closeness. Once you get on the other side of that conflict, you may be closer than you have ever been. So as we end today's episode, I challenge you to fight fair. On this Friday, fight fair. Next week, fight fair. Every month, fight fair. And see how far it takes you. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Much love from Dr. Tammy here at In the Trenches.